In-vehicle computing systems and mobile devices increasingly take advantage of advanced interface technologies such as touchscreens. Compared to traditional physical, like button and knob control systems, touchscreens allow greater flexibility and more virtual space to support control for non-driving tasks, such as interacting with the navigation system, climate and comfort controls, and the entertainment systems. Another factor when transitioning from physical systems to touchscreens is that there's considerably different qualities in the visual, auditory, and haptic feedback that the user needs to confirm the selection and activation of the intended control. For example, a physical knob or button provides a richer haptic feedback experience when in tactile contact with the button. The sense of touch provides a lot of information that can help confirm you've landed at the right location, such as the shape and the physical properties of the button. Physical controls also provide richer activation feedback. So this could be the click of the knob, which can be felt and heard as it's being turned, the resistance of the button when it's being depressed. And touchscreen interfaces lack the same physical qualities and so must recreate synthetically these types of feedback through visual changes such as lighting up a selected button and by introducing auditory sounds like clicks and tactile feedback through pulsed vibrations. Previous and current research continues to show the disadvantages of touchscreens over physical buttons for performance in an interaction task. For example, people can enter text with a physical keyboard faster and more accurately than with a touchscreen soft keyboard. What we don't know well yet is how touchscreens affect one's ability to do two tasks at once, such as interact with an in-vehicle system while driving. If touchscreen interactions require more visual attention to compensate for the poorer haptic feedback, this may negatively affect eyes on road time, which is an important factor in driving performance and safety. Given the potential benefits for supporting control of secondary tasks, designers of mobile and in-vehicle technologies will consider using touchscreen controls and potentially other future advanced interface technologies. In fact, there are already some major vehicle manufacturers that have center consoles that are just one giant touchscreen. So it's important to understand the implications for driver multitasking performance and safety if we're moving away from these physical interfaces to those that have different feedback qualities in the vehicle. Participants drove in a real vehicle on a closed track course. This required them to at times identify and act on visual probes that were hidden in the surroundings. So these probes were located at points that represented safety critical locations, such as when approaching an intersection or where a child might appear from the far side of a parked vehicle. The configurations of these probes were changed between runs so that they weren't predictable to the drivers, so they were always having to look out for them. While performing this driving task, a secondary interaction task required entering button sequences on various devices that included a physical keyboard, a small touchscreen keyboard, and a large touchscreen keyboard. The touchscreen keyboards were also reconfigured between runs to have various combinations of visual, auditory, and tactile feedback by lighting up buttons, by making an auditory click, and by presenting vibration pulses. Performance on both the driving and visual probe identification task and on the interaction task were collected and analyzed together as a multitask set. In line with our expectations, the physical keyboard interface generally supported the best multitask performance. However, the touchscreen interface supported performance that approached the physical keyboard performance when richer feedback was used. In other words, adding more non-visual feedback to the touchscreen better supported both the interaction task and the visual probe identification task. One surprising finding, however, is that the vibrations used for the haptic feedback in the current study were apparently not that beneficial. We think this is likely because only one type of vibration was used, one type of signal, And further study could determine if different types of vibrations, such as longer or shorter pulses, different pulse patterns, different activation frequencies or intensities, may better ultimately support multitasking. Our study showed that the characteristics of sensory feedback for in-vehicle and mobile devices can have a significant impact on both a driver's ability to conduct these in-vehicle interaction tasks and also on eyes-on-road time for the drivers. So vehicle designers should consider these factors in the next generation of vehicles, and future research should investigate the multitasking implications of interface characteristics when considering driving performance and safety.